Živijo, tukaj je Anže, poslušate podcast Aparatus, kjer legitimni člani družbe povejo, kaj počnejo v življenju. Aparatus ima od zdaj naprej tudi sponzorja, tako kot pri gostih sem upal, da bom za sponzorja dobil neko normalno oziroma legitimno firmo. To se je tudi zgodilo, tako da sem zdaj ful vesel, da lahko rečem, da Aparatus podpira Third Frame Studios, podjetje, ki je sicer locirano v Kranju, sicer več ali manj poslujejo s tujimi partnerji. Kaj točno delajo, lahko najdete na njihovi spletni strani www.3fs.si. So pa cool firma, ki je hotela podpreti Aparatus. Jaz sem jim zato ful hvaležen, pa tudi jaz sem vesel, da sem dobil enega sponzorja, ki razume, kaj jaz tukaj počnem in je toliko družbeno odgovoren, da podpre eno tako zadevo, kot je Aparatus. Tole pa je 38. epizoda Aparatusa, ki je dodatna ta teden, se pravi bosta dve, še ena pride v sredo. Tale pa je dodatna zato, ker sem govoril s francoskim novinarjem Arnaudom Lecomtom, ki piše za L'Equipe. V Ljubljani je seveda zaradi Eurobasketa, tako da so se veliko pogovarjali o Eurobasketu, o evropski košarki, o NBA-ju, o razlikah, vmes tudi malo ragbiju v Franciji. Zelo dobro pozna tudi balkansko košarko, tako da so veliko govorili tudi o temu. Na tej točki bi se pa še zahvalil Andražu Ravniku, ki je omogočil tale pogovor, ker pač človek nima vsak dan šanse govoriti z nekom, ki piše za enega najboljših časopisov športnih na svetu. Tako da hvala, Andraž. Če pa ste slučajno na Aparatus naročeni v iTunesih, bo pa kakršna koli ocena tam dobrodošla in kakršnega koli feedbacka sem tudi vesel. Evo, zdaj pa no. Okay, so this is going to start now. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Arnaud Lecomte. I'm a journalist for a newspaper, daily newspaper, sport newspaper, L'Equipe, which is an old French newspaper.
Yeah, because I think L'Equipe and Gazzetta dello Sport, I think are like the two major sports newspapers that people know, I guess. So how old is L'Equipe, really?
L'Equipe is from 1946, just after the
war.
World War II. But before, from, I guess, 1903, there was another newspaper named L'Auto. And this newspaper was the creator of the Tour de France.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so L'Auto was, with the World War II, they stopped. And so after World War II, they decided to create another newspaper, change the name for L'Equipe.
Why did they change the name?
I guess because, during the war, there was some trouble.
Okay.
And that's why they wanted to change the name, I guess.
There's always trouble during the war, yeah, okay.
Especially in France,
Yeah, oh, you're talking to people from, the Balkan region, so we understand that completely. So you just cover basketball or any other sports or everything, or how does it work?
I have the chance to cover basketball and only basketball.
Oh, that's nice.
But that's the last year. Next season, I will cover also handball.
Handball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we need someone on handball. But my sport is basketball, and I cover it from 1993, I'm afraid of.
So, okay. So you've seen everything happen in Europe, basically, as far as basketball, because that's when it started for real, almost. Well, the EuroLeague. Well, I guess.
You're right.
We can go into that. One question I have about the Eurobasket now. So when you heard that it was happening in Slovenia, what were your thoughts? Because, it's like every 2 years, it's like a different country, or 4 years, it's a different country. So what were your thoughts when you heard that it's happening in Slovenia?
The same than 2 years ago. 2 years ago it was in Lithuania, and we know that Lithuania or Slovenia are basketball countries, so that's a good news. I prefer, working in that kind of small countries, because I know that they are feeling basketball. You can go to Germany or Great Britain or Sweden, but there's no passion. I remember the Eurobasket 2003 in Stockholm, in Sweden. There was no feeling for basketball. So I prefer to go in that kind of small countries, okay. For me, Lithuania is probably the best place in Europe. And Slovenia is probably in the top 3.
Seriously?
I guess.
Okay.
We still have 10 days to go, so we are waiting for that.
So there is a sense, I guess the whole Balkans and Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia, there is a sense outside of here that we are sort of basketball people, I guess. or like?
Of course. I guess especially in France, we have a special relation with Balkan basketball. I guess French teach a lot of basketball in the 50s in Serbia, in Belgrade. So I guess there's a special relationship. And when I was a young journalist, my boss in L'Equipe for basketball told me how special it is to go to Yugoslavia at that time to see how the basketball is teach, or how the basketball is very important in people's life. So I remember my first report as a young reporter was in Limoges in 1992, and guess who was the coach?
Yeah.
So one of my first interview with Mr. Malkovich, and so it was so special for me because Split was a very important. Jugoplastika was a very important team at that time. It was the best team in Europe at that time. So I was like a child watching Malkovich, speaking with him about Kukoc, about Raja, about all those great players. So for me, it was one of my first feeling with basketball as a journalist was with let's say Balkan basketball.
Balkan basketball. So, like, there's this theory around here that for the 92 Barcelona Olympics, right, if the country hadn't fallen apart, that's a favorite theory of ours. If it had, like, that's the only regret people have, basically, if that team could have happened. Like, since you're in basketball, how did you see that whole, like the Barcelona Olympics when it happened, when basically just Croatia made it into the Olympics and we were like this close, Slovenia. But so how do you see that team sort of like would have played? Do you think they had any chance? I know that's a stupid question because it's the Americans had an insane team, but like that's like one of the favorite theories we try to answer.
Sure, but it's the same in France. I mean, everybody's speaking about Barcelona Olympics. They probably tried to dream about a real final between USA Dream Team and Yugoslavia, but I mean unified Yugoslavia, the team who won everything in the late 80s, with Slovenians, with Croatians, with Serbians. So this is like just an idea of basketball. This is like a romantic idea. I'm not sure that this team could have won the Dream Team.
Yeah, that's.
But I guess the final could be something that you dream of for all the time. It's like maybe it's better like that. Maybe it's better.
Yeah. So there's no definitive answer. So, yeah.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so. This is very important now. You speak to Ivkovic or the guys who were involved in that time, Ivkovic or some players or some old players. They all speak about that. That this time was so special because 92 you have this final, this Olympics, and 93 Drazen died.
Yeah.
And we know how Drazen was important at that time and is still very important. I spoke yesterday with a Croatian journalist here in Ljubljana, and he said to me, that's something crazy. We won 4 games in a row for the first time in Eurobasket from 1995. Croatia.
Yeah.
They won 4 games in a row. It was, and it's a very big event for them today. Mm. And he said we have euphoria in Zagreb and everywhere in Croatia at that time because we won 4 games in a row. That's huge. And he said, because in the last years, everybody in Croatia said that basketball is died from 1993 and the accident of Drazen. Mm. So this is like revival for them. I mean, that time, 91, 92, 93, 91, the last unified team, 92, the Dream Team and the Olympics, and 93, the deaths of Drazen. I mean, those 3 years, they are the most important probably years in Balkan basketball. I mean, in the last 30 years probably. So that's why this period is so special, especially for the French.
So, like this Eurobasket, I guess France is doing well at this point. We can say that, like the national team. Well, yeah, okay.
They won the games.
They won the game, yeah. Well, which is the only thing that matters. Okay, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Like, what was the expectation back home, like in France, for this French team?
Always, the French national team played. I think it's 35 Eurobasket. They are at the top. No other nation play so much Eurobasket in the history. But we never won it. Never won. Germany won.
Yeah, which is, yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. So everybody expect that this generation, because it's a golden generation, this NBA guys, Tony Parker, Boris Dio, Nicolas Batum, etc. Everybody's expecting gold. In France, basketball is not in a good shape from 10 years. We didn't win any games in EuroLeague, no more. We have all those great players in NBA, but nobody knows them because they play, at night when you sleep in France. Yeah. So you don't know. I guess everybody's in France know Tony Parker, but I'm not sure they know which position he plays basketball.
Well, yeah.
Because they don't know about basketball. There's no basketball culture in France. And the other way is that Parker is the husband of this actress,
okay.
Eva Longoria. That's all.
He's more known for that maybe than basketball. Yeah.
Of course. But that's a pity, but that's it. So basketball is now maybe sport number 5 or 6 in France.
Oh.
So especially in collective sports, because you're team sports. You have first football, of course, and second is rugby. Rugby is very important in France. It's huge. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes. You don't know rugby. Nobody knows rugby.
Yeah.
Except Great Britain, France, and Australia or New Zealand and South Africa. But in France it's very, very important.
So that there's actual leagues in France and everything for rugby, or just the national
the league is very is big. We have I guess 7 or 8 teams that are above 20 million euros budget per year.
That's insane.
And the best, the highest French basketball budget is 6.
Yeah. Oh, we wish we had a budget of 6 in any team, but yeah, okay. Wow. I did not know that. Yeah.
And handball now is quite equal to basketball.
Yeah.
So that's why we expect gold, because this is the only way to have an exposure and to speak about basketball in France. If you are only semi-finalist, nobody cares. Nobody cares in France.
Yeah. You have to win it, basically.
You have to win it.
Yeah. Okay, but rugby's been around for a while. Even in France, has there been in the last 15 years, the popularity grew, or
the popularity is very big from a long time. I remember when I was a child, every Saturday afternoon you have this tournament, Six Nations tournament.
Yeah.
So it's something cultural. This is I don't know. It's like drinking. Let's say aperitifs, before eating in France. Very important, You have to drink something. I don't know what you want, but you have to drink something. So it's the same for Saturdays afternoon. You have to watch TV, and see the games and watch the games of rugby. And so it's huge from a long time. But now it's professional, and the league is professional from, I guess, something like 18 years, 1995.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what? It's the time where basketball start to decline. And rugby starts to
take off, basically.
Progress.
Yeah.
So That's probably the key. In 1995, 1996, the French Federation, the French people who are in charge of basketball, they probably did a bad work at that time. And rugby did a great work. Mm-hmm. So now rugby is so far...
But what happened then in like the mid-90s? That was one of my questions with French basketball. Because you used to have like Limoges and Powertez and all of those clubs, which are big clubs even in Europe. I mean, they were... Like Limoges was in the same league as Real at that time and Cibona, like, and stuff like... So what happened to those clubs? Because... Like if you say to like the younger generations, if you just mention Limoges, nobody knows what you're talking about, basically.
There's many things. I guess, first of all, in France you have a big popularity of basketball, but street basketball. So it's different than organized basketball, let's say. And at that time, street basketball, they were all speaking of NBA. NBA was very huge, probably the country in Europe where basketball grows much, mm-hmm. A lot, because of probably a social identification. We have a lot of migrants in France coming from Africa or West Caribbeans. So those people, they are living in the suburbs of Paris or big cities, and those people, they wanted to identify to a sport like basketball, because rap music, because all those codes, social codes, they were looking at. So probably at that moment, NBA was something bad for, let's say, organized basketball.
Yeah. I think the NBA
Michael Jordan, the Dream Team, that was, of course, at the end of the day, it's better for basketball. Yeah. But for French basketball at that time, it was not so good, I guess.
Why is the NBA good for basketball, for like organized basketball? Because I figured if you follow European, which style of play do you prefer? Like the American one or the European one?
I don't want to choose. I mean, I don't want to choose between my daughter and my son.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
For me it's basketball. Okay. And there's one basketball. So this is not the question, I guess, for me. But I know that for many people, they are making a difference between basketball and NBA basketball, because it's entertainment, because everything, about entertainment and show, and European basketball was not so entertaining, and which is let's say white basketball and black basketball.
Well, yeah, but I think like the main reason is the 3-second defensive rule. I think that's the biggest difference.
I'm not sure that people, they know about the 3
Yeah, I know, but I think that's why American basketball actually looks more fun, because the paint is always empty.
Of course.
And like, I think if they did that in Europe, I think it'd be a tragedy for me, because I actually like a proper defense, basically.
I prefer also.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not what... I don't want to make a separation, because Americans, they create basketball.
That is true.
So, are they wrong about basketball?
No, they're not. No, I see what you mean. Yeah,
they're making business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of it, I guess. Yeah.
In Europe, you can understand nothing. You have EuroLeague. Yeah. This is a private organization. Okay. You have FIBA. You have FIBA Europe. Yeah. You have different rules between EuroLeague, FIBA Europe, and FIBA World. Can you understand something? How do you do? In the NBA, that's
all it is. Yeah, it's the NBA.
One and only,
Yeah. Okay, but then this is an interesting question, because I talked to Boštjan Nagbar and Uroš Slokar, and I asked them the same question. Like, just the system, forget basketball, the rules doesn't really matter, but which system do you think is better? Like the NBA model, where it's basically like a private organization with a fixed number of clubs and no club can die, basically, which is really like just communism at its best, or the European version where if you suck 1 year, you can basically close the club.
Capitalism at its best.
Capitalism, which is insane because it's
a
supposed
paradox,
to be.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but which system do you think? I'll ask you like this: which system do you prefer, and which system do you think is better for basketball as a whole?
The American one.
The American one.
Yeah.
On both counts, you prefer it, and
not only for basketball. I mean for professional sports.
But
there is for football also.
Yeah, but like the UEFA with the Champions League, I think they're somewhere in the middle. I think that's what they're doing right. Nobody really mentions that, but that's why I like the Champions League, because sure it's most of the same clubs, but you know.
I don't know if I will have still time to see that in my life, but I'm almost sure that maybe in 10, 20, 30 years. We will have an American model in professional sports in Europe. I'm quite sure of that, because this is the way things are going. I mean, business, money, bigger and bigger clubs. Those crazy numbers about football players like Gareth Bale, Real Madrid, and all those.
But do you think it's going to go in like a UEFA sort of direction, or just a proper NBA system?
Probably not exactly an NBA system. I guess 50-50, something like this. You remember maybe 10 years ago there was some big clubs in Europe, football Europe, like AC Milan, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, etc., etc. They wanted to create a kind of G12 or G15, something like this. Like basketball did it 10 years ago.
Yeah, with the EuroLeague.
And finally, UEFA, they say, okay, we will bring you more money. So now they are okay, or
sort of okay.
But I mean, in 5-10 years. The problem could be the same.
The same, yeah.
For sure, because they want more and more money. And I guess at one time, private interests are not really reliable with the public, let's say, or federation like UEFA interest.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I like sort of UEFA, because they're navigating it.
But it's easy for them. It's easier than for basketball, because UEFA, they have a lot of money, because football in Europe is a big business, you know.
Yeah.
So that's easier, you know, because you can bring money to the clubs, but in basketball you can't.
Yeah, ULEB doesn't really have the same incentives.
Every year there's many problems with EuroLeague. You know, they don't know. They sometimes, you know, they think that Greece is growing. Sometimes it's Israel. Sometimes it's Spain. Now Spain is down. Greece is more than down. And the only stable countries for EuroLeague are France and Germany. Stable, I mean.
Yeah.
But France and Germany are not basketball countries. Remember, they organized the Final Four in London. They said, yeah, well, it's a good thing for European basketball, because Great Britain is a great market for us. Okay, so we organized the Final Four in London. But you remember, it was a disaster in terms of marketing, in terms of tickets. So they wanted to have 2 in a row, but finally, now they bring the Final Four back to Italy, because it was not a real success, you know, this year. So that means that every year there's something new or bad that, you know, so you can't create something stable.
There's no consistency.
There's no consistency, right?
Because I remember when the EuroLeague started, Olympia got drawn in the group with the London Towers.
Portugal.
Varense, which was that was pointless, basically. Yeah, but that kind of, I agree there, because when there's so much change, there's no, like, fans can't really comprehend the whole, like, but in America you just say the NBA, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Every year the tournament of qualification for for EuroLeague, it's not the same formula, you know. Sometimes it's 8 teams. Sometimes it's let's say 6 or 4 teams, or you never know. Every year in May or June you learn that this team can play in your, so we will bring the license to another one, but you don't know how they do
Yeah.
it. Nobody
And
understands
there's
nothing.
a point system that
You
nobody
must be a
understands.
mathematician or a Nobel Prize to understand, So this is very bad for public, Even journalists don't understand. So how do you want public to identify to the competition? It's really difficult.
Okay, so in the same sort of area, what about the Eurobasket expansion that happened?
24 teams, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really long. I like so much Ljubljana. It's a great city. It's beautiful. But I think 3 weeks, it's too long.
It's too long. So, but in terms of basketball, since some teams that never got the chance to play in a Eurobasket,
Sure, yeah.
I guess there's a positive there.
Sure, you're right, but maybe they have to change the formula. Maybe the second round, I think, is too long.
Long, yeah.
Because, for example, tonight, if Serbia or France win, they are qualified to quarterfinals. So I have to 1 week more to wait for the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So it's not good, I guess.
And every time the points are transferred, something goes wrong. That's always a bad.
Try to explain that to the people.
I know. I tried to my girlfriend. I did not succeed. So, yeah, because it's hard to explain. And then all the questions is, but why? Why do they have to take some of the points? Because then people would just throw games, and it's insane. I don't know, but there is a sort of a romantic feeling when you see like Belgium and the UK playing in the Europe. I think that's like a good thing, I guess.
I mean, this is so competitive now.
Yeah.
24 teams. Each of them are good. Each of them are winning games. I mean, only maybe no teams didn't win a game this year.
Yeah, I think everybody won at least one game. Yeah, I think it was
everyone.
I think so. Yeah. Even Poland.
Poland they win it.
Well, against us. So yeah.
Great Britain. Everybody was expecting Great Britain to be a disaster.
Yeah.
They won 2 games.
Mm-hmm. And Finland is somehow winning, which is insane. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Macedonia was semi-finalist last time.
Yeah.
And now they are eliminated.
Yeah, I know.
On Russia and Turkey, which are big places for basketball. Russia was third in the Olympics, third in the last Eurobasket.
And they're just gone. Yeah.
They're gone. That means that 24 teams are competitive, and you can't be sure to win each game like in the past. Now it's really good for competition. Great Britain 10 years ago, it was nothing. Montenegro, of course, was nothing 10 years ago. Macedonia was not something really big 10 years ago. Let's say Ukraine.
Yeah.
They won 4 games in the first round. Okay, the group was not so good, but they won 4 games. And they play good basketball, I can tell you. I saw them. You maybe saw them play, but they play a great basketball collective game. So that means that now you have no small nations. Example, Estonia, which is not playing the Eurobasket this year, they qualify for the next one, and I'm pretty sure that Estonia could win at least 1 game here. And it's the same probably for other nations. So that means that we have now a competition for 30 teams in Europe, like quite football.
Yeah. Which I guess is in the long term might be a good thing, because
for sure
the popularity must go up.
Sure. That's why they want to play games, a lot of games in Eurobasket. That's why we have this second round, because they want to create, exposure for national teams for 3 weeks. Because this is the only window in the year. You don't play, let's say in winter. You don't play with national teams. Okay, in the future when they will reorganize the calendar, the schedule, and the calendar. They will play in November and February. But in the last 10 years, they play only in summer, and so this is just 3 weeks, or let's say 1 month or 2 months because of preparation and all that stuff. But for national teams, it's very important to have exposure. That's why FIBA Europe, they wanted to have a big tournament with 3 weeks of games,
So that everything happens in 3 weeks, basically. But I imagine there's a channel in Sweden that actually showed basketball in the 3 weeks, which probably hasn't happened. Like, that has never happened.
Right, and they have 2 NBA players.
Yeah, which is even more,
So it's very important for them too, because that means that during the year, from November to let's say April or May, they can speak of basketball because they have two guys in the NBA. And if they don't have, nobody speaks about basketball in Sweden because there's no competitive team in European Cups, you know.
Okay, one last question about the Eurobasket here. And be as honest as you want to be. But how do you like the venues, like the sports halls where the games are played?
I was a little bit disappointed with Tivoli.
With Tivoli? Okay.
I didn't go to Koper or Jesenice or Celje, so I don't know. But I saw some things on TV, and I guess that the atmosphere was better. In Tivoli, there was no atmosphere because it's not about Slovenian problem. It's about the composition of the group. You have Germany, no fans. You had Ukraine, no fans. You had Great Britain, no fans. Yeah. You have only some French and some Belgians.
Okay.
So maybe, let's say, 50 French and 50 Belgian.
Okay.
That's not a lot.
And like one guy from London showed up, probably.
Yes. And one Ukrainian, you know.
No, but just in terms of the infrastructure, how did you find like the whole, you know? Yeah, well, I know that
Tivoli is quite whole now.
Yeah, it's getting, It was built for the last championships.
Yeah, that's all. You can feel the atmosphere because there's a special atmosphere, and you can say, okay, that's an old venue, but there's a lot of memories inside, especially the World Championship, of course. But I don't think it's now something good for basketball because when you see the games on TV, you can feel that the seats are the stands are empty, and the venue is quite whole. It's not really sexy.
Yeah.
When we speak about NBA, you know, NBA is always wonderful. That's, you know, a lot of colors, a lot of lights, you know. And I think for people who are not really aware of basketball, when they watch an NBA game and when they watch Great Britain, Ukraine in Tivoli, I guess the difference is so huge, man.
Yeah.
So
it looks like something from the 70s, but in color.
Yeah, so I'm afraid you don't stay to watch the game. You know, you switch.
I guess it's going to get better in the second round when it's all going to be Strojna. Sure. I guess the big one. So that makes sense.
Of course. But that means it's very, I think, very important for FIBA Europe to market the Eurobasket at all. You know, not only the second round, not only the final round, but the first round too.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have like Stozice Arena, fourth Stozice Arena in the first round. I know it's impossible, and especially in Slovenia, and it's impossible in France too. But you have to think about that.
Yeah, because that rule, I guess I understand it, that it needs to be a different one for the second part, a different venue. It's just a shame because in Celje, where Slovenia played, was packed basically. It was full all the time, and I imagine if Stožica got the chance, in the first rounds, it'd be full as well. Because I think we'd get 12,000 people for a couple of games. And it's just a shame.
Sure.
And the Celje Hall is awesome, but that was a handball. That's a handball city basically.
But you know, I'm afraid that Eurobasket will die because of this. Changing in the schedule and in the calendar.
Oh, you think the qualifying stuff is gonna make it harder?
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Every 4 years.
Yeah.
And you don't qualify for Olympics.
Oh, the Olympics?
No more.
Why?
Because FIBA World is the boss.
Oh, that's.
And there's a kind of war between FIBA Europe and FIBA World.
So you'll have to do well in the World Championship?
No. Qualification for Olympics. Qualification
so
games.
What, just going to be played the whole year? It's going to be national teams now.
November and February.
Yeah.
But which team?
Yeah, I don't understand how that's going to work.
No NBA players.
Yeah, because nobody's going to show up.
So for French, for example, two different teams. One to qualify and one to play. And the ones who qualified, they don't play the Olympics. They want to come back. You think 2 years after
to qualify again? Yeah.
Again.
But that's not even going to work with the EuroLeague. So you're going to play EuroLeague games, and then you're going to play for the national team in between, and then go back to. That's insane. Okay, we're just not gonna go. That's just depressing.
So I love European basketball.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want to tell them, okay, you are destroying your sport. Not, you are destroying your sport.
Yeah, because with football that works because it's football.
But there's no NBA in football. Everything is in Europe.
Yeah.
So it's easier, of course.
Jesus.
But what you want to fight with NBA? You don't win.
Yeah,
you don't win for
that
sure.
Battle, yeah. Jesus.
Now, you have more than 100 international players in NBA? I think this year they will break the record, all-time record. 100 players. That means in NBA you have 30 franchise and 15 players under contract. Mm-hmm. So that means 450, and now more than
a quarter, I guess.
Quite a quarter. That's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to watch those qualifying games. That's going to be... Maybe if they just move them to like small venues, like 1,000-seat venues, maybe it's going to look full, but yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's go to the last portion. You just depressed the hell out of me.
Sorry for that. I'm so sorry.
Because I didn't know about the Olympics. I knew that they were going to change the schedule. Okay, well, so I have to ask you about like the tools you use to do your job. So
My pen.
I imagine there's a lot of writing with a pen, but that phone, which is a BlackBerry.
Yeah, it's a old phone.
Yeah.
From 1975, I guess.
So you use a BlackBerry, where I can't ask about any apps, and I saw you have a Dell laptop.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
1983.
But with a big battery, which I guess comes in handy.
Yeah, beautiful battery. I'm really happy with that.
No, but there is one thing I always ask. Like I've interviewed a lot of like writers or reporters. Like, what do you write in? Like the stuff you then goes to the newspaper. Which program do you write in? Do you just use Word, or do you have any special programs?
Word.
Just Word.
Yeah. We have a
custom thing.
Yes, named Reporter, but it's like Word. It's
okay.
just. They adjust it just because we can send the article to the newspaper with GSM.
Okay, so it just sends it.
Of course. So if we don't have any internet connection, we can still send the article from a train or from in the street or everywhere. Mm-hmm. So because with we have of course you need a network connection to the network. I mean to the phone network. But that's why we have a special program for that. So, it's quite Word. It's the same.
It's the same thing. Okay. Well, I always ask that because I don't like Word that very much. I use different kind of stuff. But okay. Okay. And then the next thing I ask is, which browser do you use?
I guess Google Chrome or
Chrome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Because you could have been one of those people that just said Internet Explorer and then would have just stopped the interview. But yeah, that's important. Google Chrome is important. That's an important answer, seriously. Okay, and then I have one last question, which is also always the same. This is a weird one, but just bear with me. If you had to say one thing, like one physical thing, which made the biggest impact on your life. It doesn't have to be a gadget. It doesn't have to be a computer. I've gotten like shoes for answers. But if you had to, if you might still have it, you might have thrown it away. It doesn't matter. Just one thing that made the biggest impact on your life. And it has to be physical. It can't be your mother. That doesn't work. It has to be something physical.
I don't know. Maybe music.
But that's not like maybe a special album or something.
Or just an iPod.
An iPod. That's a good answer. Really. So
I can't live with my iPod.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you pay for your music through iTunes, of course. I guess.
Pay.
You pay.
I pay, sir.
That sounds like a police question. That's it. Thank you very much.
Good. That was nice. That was fun.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Tole je bila ta dodatna 38. epizoda Aparatusa. Arnolda najdete na Twitterju pod Arnaud Lecomte. Jaz sem na Twitterju @anzet. Če ste slučajno na Aparatus naročeni v iTunesih, bo kakršnakoli ocena tam dobrodošla, ker tako še kdo najde tale podcast. Sicer sem pa feedbacka ful vesel, tako da mi lahko težite na Twitterju oziroma prek maila anze@aparatus.si. Zdaj pa to je do srede to. Evo, čau.